Let's talk about one of the biggest twists I put on Mulan Dragon Shifter, which is my Mulan retelling, and that is why Mulan went to the war. Now, we know that Mulan stories are based off of those old Chinese ballads, the Ballad of Mulan. There were two versions of them, and they were radically different than the Disney version. And so I went back to that source material, and she, in one of these ballads, went into the war, and everybody knew. And in one of them, she went to the war, and she kind of concealed the fact that she was a female. And so I had to make a decision on why she was going into this war. I did want her to be covering for a male in her family, but it was not her father as it was in that ballad or in the Disney version. And I wanted her to be covering for her brother because I knew when I was creating this story that I was making her a dragon shifter. So in my world, in my Mulan's world, there are males that can shift into dragon form. The females cannot. The only females that can shift into dragon form are the enemies. And so Mulan is a twin. She and her brother were twins. And in utero, she stole her brother's powers. So she has the ability to shift because somewhere back in her mother's line, they're way over connected to the world of their enemies. They're not anymore, but like way back, genetically speaking, they had that in their line. So in utero, she actually absorbed all of her brother's powers. Her brother can't really shift and do things that he's supposed to be doing. And so they've kind of covered the fact that he can't do that for many, many years. And no one knows that Mulan can. It's a huge secret because he could get her executed if people found out. And so when we are going into this war, all of the men who are dragon shifters are supposed to go to fight the enemies who do also have that dragon shifting capability. And so now we have her brother, her very weak, powerless brother. He's not a weak human, but like his powers are weak. He cannot shift. And when he kind of can do things, it's a very dangerous situation for him. And so Mulan follows him into the war. She goes to protect him. And she doesn't intend on shifting. She just intends on, making sure things are okay. However, on her way there, she ends up having to shift and having to protect people. And now all of a sudden they've seen her. So my twist is that she has taken her brother's place, but nobody knows it. Her brother's still there, but she is the dragon form version of her brother, and her brother plays himself in human form. So he is the one everyone thinks is the dragon, and she just isn't seen during the battles. And he actually goes to hide because she is the dragon form of her. So they are playing the same part, and nobody knows she is the dragon that everyone ascribes to her brother. It's a fun little twist because we actually get to go back to those original stories where she's sneaking in or not sneaking in, the things that she's doing. And it's kind of a nice little nod to the Disney version as well, because we can't retell Disney versions, but Mushu is such a big part of Disney's Mulan. I love him, and I wanted to give that little nod to him by doing the dragon shifting. And so we really get to play into those dragons, the mythology of dragons, all of those things inside of the story. And it gives me the opportunity to have both of them in the war. So she's taking the place of her twin brother because she stole his powers. She plays one version, he plays another version. And of course, all those things are going to collide and crash into each other and cause a lot of problems, especially because Mulan is dating the guy in charge of the army secretly until the war happens, and then they're not. And then love triangles and things happen. So there's a lot of really good fun twists inside of Mulan, but that was one of my favorites because we took from the originals, we took from what is very well known about her sneaking in, protecting the males, people not knowing that she was female, but also giving her very feminine moments inside of the story because she actively, as herself, gets to be involved in the Mulan story, in the story of the war, in what's going on, just not in the same capacity. They think she's there kind of acting like a nurse, helping people out, and that she's off tending to the wounded when she's actually a dragon in the sky taking care of everybody. And her brother is off hiding in the woods, hiding out of sight so that the two of them don't get caught. There's a lot inside of it, but I really, really, really liked that twist. There's a lot of other twists. There's a lot of other fun things, but that is definitely one that I'm very proud of how we twisted that to fit Mulan Dragon Shifter into all of those touchstones from the original. Drop your questions on Mulan Dragon Shifter and how I made the changes I made to my Mulan story, how I learned and educated myself about the originals as opposed to the Disney versions, and any questions you have on writing retellings. If you want to get your hands on Mulan Dragon Shifter, it is available on all of the major platforms, both in hardcover with a fancy special edition cover underneath, paperback, and ebook. And I would love to have more conversations about the books that I've written, the retellings that I've created, and how you can do these things as well. Follow along for daily videos helping you navigate the world of your writer life or your reader life to give you the best life possible while also being profitable this year. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.